Hello and welcome, my dear students, to my channel Mathematics Made Easy. This is Mr. Chika welcoming you to today's session. On special request of many of my students, here I am with the EOT Hakel Module 2 revision, especially for grade 10 advance for the term 3 coming exam. In this session, we are going to revise Learning Objective 8 from Lesson 2-1 Polynomial Functions. The questions that we are going to be covering in today's session are from page 80 and 81 of your math book. So let's get started and see how we solve these questions. The first question asks you to use the graph to state the number of real zeros of the function. So look at the three graphs that are shown here for question 15, 16 and 17. These are from page 80 of your math book. So here we have to look at the graph. The graph is the blue graph. So the question 15 is straight line graph. Count the number of times the graph touches or crosses the x-axis. So this straight line is touching the x-axis at only one point. Therefore, the number of real zeros of this function for question 12 is going to be 1. So just you have to, the hint is you have to count the number of points or the number of times the graph touches or crosses the x-axis, the horizontal axis. Okay, this one. So how many times here? Count 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times. So therefore, the number of real zeros for this question is 4. Similarly, let's look at question 17. 1, 2, 3. So there are going to be 3 real zeros of function for question 17. So simple. In a similar way, we will now count for question 18, 19 and 20. So 1 and 2. There are 2 times the graph crosses or touches the x-axis. Therefore, the number of real zeros for function in question 18 is 2. The number of real zeros for question 19 is 3. And the number of real zeros for question 20 is also 3. So just count carefully how many times the graph touches or crosses the x-axis, and that will give you your answer for the number of real zeros. So this is a formula sheet that I've taken from your book. This will help you solve question 23, 24, 25, 26 correctly. You have to learn this table and the table which I show in the next slide so that you can answer for the end behavior correctly depending upon the degree and the leading coefficient. So I will quickly explain, pay attention. When it comes to degree, if the degree of the question which is given to you is even, like 2, 4, 6, and the leading coefficient has positive sign, it's greater than 0, then the end behavior, you have to learn this formula, is given by this. How do you know? Look at the shape of the graph, pay attention. The graph is U-shape. So if you see on the left side, as x goes to minus infinity, this is negative x, this is positive x, this is positive y, this is negative y. Where is the graph going? It's going up. So can I say as x goes to minus infinity, fx goes to plus infinity, it is positive, it's going up. So therefore the first part of the end behavior, it is the behavior of the graph at these end points, you can see here. Similarly, on the right side where x is positive, as x goes to plus infinity, the graph is still going up direction. Therefore, it is still going to plus infinity. Therefore, the total end behavior for this kind of a question where the degree is even and leading coefficient positive, remember the shape of the graph U shape. So you will be able to answer that in both cases, the graph fx goes to plus infinity. It goes up. Now, if the degree in the question is odd, like it is 1 or 3 or 5 or 7 like that, and the leading coefficient is positive, greater than 0, then the end behavior is given by this. Look at the shape of the graph. We will see again in the similar way. On the left side of the x-axis, which is negative, the graph is going down. So can I say as x goes to minus infinity, fx also goes to minus infinity because it's coming down on this side. However, on the other side, it's going up, positive. So as x goes to plus infinity, fx is also going to plus infinity. So remember the shape of the graph. It's like decreasing here, increasing here. So accordingly, you will learn this end behavior. As x goes to minus infinity, going down, so negative. As x goes to plus infinity, positive right side, it's going up. This is how you remember the formula sheet. Now this is another part of the formula sheet, number 3 case, where the degree is even like 2, 4, 6. However, the leading coefficient is negative. So it may be minus 5, minus 2, whatever. In this case, the end behavior is given by this. You have to learn this formula for the end behavior and the graph. So let me explain. On the left side of the x-axis, where x is negative, the graph is going down. So if it is going down, fx will be negative of infinity. Similarly, on the other side also it is going down. So in both the cases, fx is going to negative infinity, whether it is left or right. So this is going to be the end behavior. Last, if the degree is odd like 1, 3, 5, 7, however the leading coefficient is negative like minus 5, minus 2, whatever, this is the end behavior, and again you have to learn it. On the left side, when x is going to minus infinity, the graph is going up. Fx goes to plus infinity. However, on the right side of x-axis, positive, the graph is going down. So as x goes to infinity, fx goes to minus infinity. So this is the formula of all the 4 cases, and let's now apply it for the question. First, we have to find the degree and the leading coefficient depending upon the degree, whether it is even or whether it is odd. Depending upon the sign of the leading coefficient, whether it is positive or negative, we will choose from the formula sheet which I explained the right end behavior. Sometimes if the function is not a polynomial, just give reason, no class, it's not a polynomial, I cannot find degree, I cannot find leading coefficient. So look at question 23. First of all, the powers 4 and 2. The maximum power is the degree. So can I say the degree in this question is 4, which is definitely even. And now leading coefficient is the number which is multiplied to the degree terms. What is the number multiplied here? Minus 5. So it's negative. So from the table, you have to select the end behavior, which is for degree even and leading coefficient negative. Okay. Similarly, for question 24, we will now find the degree and the leading coefficient. Power is 5 and 4, bigger is 5, so degree is 5. Definitely it is odd, and if you look at the number which is multiplied, it is plus 2, so it's positive. So positive leading coefficient and odd degree. That is the end behavior you have to select from that table, which is the formula sheet. That's why it's important to learn it. For question 25, the degree is 5, which is the biggest, and the leading coefficient is also 5, which is positive. So you will select the end behavior accordingly. In question 26, if you see, this is degree 6, 7, and 3. It's not in standard form. You choose the maximum degree. So the degree is odd, which is 7. And the leading coefficient which is multiplied to it is negative minus 5. So now we are ready with the degree and the leading coefficient, so we can choose the end behavior and give our answer. So here I have pasted from the formula sheet the correct answer. So the end behavior for question 23, because the degree is even and the leading coefficient is negative, is this. So your correct answer that you will select from the option is that as x goes to minus infinity or even as x goes to plus infinity. In both the cases, your fx goes to minus infinity. Okay. For question 24, since the degree is odd and the leading coefficient is positive, this is the end behavior. So the final answer will be as x goes to minus infinity, fx tends to minus infinity, and when x goes to plus infinity, fx goes to plus infinity. Let's check the answer for the other 2 questions also. For question number 25, since the degree is odd and the leading coefficient is positive, this is the end behavior. So as x goes to minus infinity, fx goes to minus infinity, and as x goes to plus infinity, fx also goes to plus infinity. For last question 26, since the degree is odd and the leading coefficient is negative, this is the end behavior. So we can give the final answer as x goes to minus infinity, fx goes to plus infinity, and as x goes to plus infinity, fx goes to minus infinity. Now, I really want to show you one more thing. If the question comes in your exam as multiple choice, how will you select the correct answer? So let's go to the next slide and see that. So this is the way in your ministry exam the MCQ question can come from 23 to 26. Look at the four options. It will look confusing, so make sure you learn the formula sheet. I'm repeating one more time. If you learn the formula sheet, only then you can do the correct answer without doing any mistake. So let's come back to the options here. Question 23, same question, but this time it is in MCQ form. So we have already discussed how to find degree and leading coefficient. So as you see, degree is 4 and leading coefficient is -5. So look at the option. Degree 2 not possible, this is not possible. Degree 5 not possible, so these two cannot be the correct answer. So again, look at the option here. Degree is 4, degree is 4, both look correct. Here leading coefficient is +5, however here it is -5, and -5 is the correct answer. So which is the correct one? C. This is how you get your answer, and the end behavior is also mentioned. Let's come to question 24. Here we have already found the degree as the maximum power 5 and the leading coefficient as 2. So which one will be the answer? Degree 4 not possible, degree 4 not possible. Now for degree 5, the leading coefficient here is negative, again which is not possible, so D is the answer. This is how in MCQ you will do the correct choice. For question 25 and 26 also, in your ministry exam, MCQ can come like this. So here the degree or the maximum power is 5 and the leading coefficient is also 5. So this one not possible, this one not possible. Let's see the other two options. Here it is negative, again not possible. So A is the answer. Let's come to this one. Here the degree is 7, which is the maximum power, and the leading coefficient is negative, which is -5. So degree 6, degree 2, all of this is not possible. Here leading coefficient is +5, again not possible, so D is the answer. I hope this video was useful, and especially I've answered the doubt of the girl who asked me to solve this question. So that's how you answer the MCQ question for learning objective 8. If this video was helpful for you, do like, share and subscribe to my channel, and let me know in the comment section which learning objective or which module you want next in my videos. Until then, this is Ms. Ruchika signing off from today's session. All the best for your final exam. Bye-bye.